dating is hard.
The older you get, the harder it is. Yes.
Louis is a happily married guy, I'm assuming.
As of recent, yeah.
And I'm in a relationship that's pretty new, but I'm in a very good place. But the thing is, dating is hard.
And I think the older you get, the harder it is.
It's so difficult.
Johnny, you and I were considered early part of the millennials.
Yeah.
And so you and I, we grew up half analog and half digital.
Yeah.
Right, and I remember in the early days, I don't know if you do, but I do, like in going through high school and going through university, online dating wasn't a thing then, right?
Yeah.
Like you met people in person or at the bar, or in class or in the library, whatever. You got to know people in person first. And then when online dating started happening, people would be like, what? You met them online? Like
Right.
it became a weird thing,
It's
right?
like a shame.
Yeah, it was a shameful thing. It's
Yeah.
like, what, you couldn't meet people in person? What's wrong with you? Why'd you have to go online? You know, like.
What's the matter with you?
But what's interesting now is before I ended having the need to date, it became the opposite, right? Like, oh, you met this person in person?
Yeah.
That's weird. How do you know they're legit? Like,
Wow.
you didn't scope them out on Facebook,
you didn't have
Instagram,
a profile,
yeah, you
you
didn't
background check.
Yeah, you met a stranger and you talked to them,
Wow.
and what?
Man.
You gave them your contact information? I'm like, I think that's how we used to do it. But like,
Yeah.
how it's interesting how like we all rely on these other things to provide validation.
There's still this thing about meeting online, but now it's like broken down to like what app you're using. So like if I met a girl on Tinder, as an example.
Yeah. That's more about.
Exactly.
What's Tinder?
It's an app for your phone where two strangers can hook up.
So it's like, get the fuck out of here, man. You think you met a proper girl on there?
Yeah.
But if I met her on eHarmony, oh, well, that's proper.
Yeah.
You paid, you had a high caliber of options.
eHarmony. I actually used that
Oh, you
years
did?
ago. You get like 3 free months or whatever.
Uh-huh.
What worked for me was Bumble and this Coffee Meets Bagel.
Right.
Like Coffee Meets Bagel worked the best for me.
My last dating was all about Bumble. I decided that it was the only one I was going to use for the simple fact that it is the only one where the woman has to message you first. It's just that, from my perspective, we live in a city full of players, guys trying to holler at as many women as possible. And when you have a girl who's even kind of pretty all the way up to super pretty, she'll get bombarded by messages.
Yeah.
Like if she doesn't log into that shit for like a few days, a week, she comes back, she could have 50 messages from 50 different guys.
Yeah.
And that just messes it up for a guy who's like legit,
And
right?
sincere.
What do you guys think? Because I really think that the thing with Bumble is that girl is choosing for, let's say she has all these like matches. Okay, fine. But she's choosing which guy to message at which point. And she can give that guy an opportunity that while the other guys wait and see if it works out. And if it doesn't, she can end the chat.
To add to your point, I believe that girls are much more diligent when they swipe yes, right?
Yes.
Like as guys, and I'm guilty of this too, you're just like, oh, hot, oh, good looking, oh, I can make something work.
Swipe yes on Betsy, swipe yes on Jennifer, swipe yes on Andrea.
Because of that, girls are just naturally inundated. And for guys, maybe it's like a numbers game, a probabilities game. That's the guy's strategy. Compare it to the girl's strategy, and naturally, and this is just my personal view, they're much more diligent and careful in how they spend their time or who they want to spend their time with. So they'll actually read your profile, they'll look at your pictures in detail, and be like, oh, I think I'd like to get to know this guy.
Yeah.
And so they curate the list for you.
I think that's just the nature of the sexes, man. I mean, I think like men swiping right like crazy. It's just like, I mean, you know, we're out to mate in a very biological sort of instinctual sense. I mean, you know what I mean? That's always been the way of the game.
Yeah.
We're hungry. I mean,
It's a numbers game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm swiping fairly selectively, but I'm swiping on based on 100% based on looks. I'm not even looking
Yeah,
at profiles.
and I even think that is unfair because there are great people that don't get the attention.
Yeah, I mean, once
Both
I
guys
match,
and girls.
once I
Yeah.
match, then I start to review the profile. But I'm certainly not like reviewing the profile and then making that decision to swipe right.
I've got a buddy who went on one of these like sugar daddy websites.
Oh,
So he was a sugar daddy, and there were sugar babies looking to be a sugar baby. He just came back and told me, Lewis, the ratios are totally different. The girls are way hotter, way more willing to engage, way more willing to reach out first.
yeah,
And he was the one inundated with messages instead of the other way around.
right. But the whole premise there is that they want you to basically be a financial support.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I don't understand, and I don't know if this is the fact that they're free apps with algorithms. I have
Oh, there are algorithms.
right. I have like months. Like when I used to be on it, I would be like, I would go like a month with like almost nothing, and I'm like, what the fuck's happening? Like, are my pictures not good? And I start to like doubt myself for a second. Like, do I need to like do something? And then the next month comes, and I'm matching left, right, and center, and I'm like, I don't understand what it looks like. And it's like all of a sudden I'll get like 10 matches at once, and it's like.
Oh.
It's like, so does the app just like suddenly put me in front of women's eyes, and like before I'm like hidden in the background, like,
So I believe so,
and
right?
they want you to pay, like,
So yeah, there's all those algorithms at play. But what I've noticed is that if you aren't present on one for a while and you go back, you actually match a lot more, right? Or
it
you
puts you in front.
maybe they profile you more, or they give
Yeah.
you more hits, right?
Yeah,
But I've also noticed that whenever you completely deactivate and then you sign on again,
yeah,
it's like a restart in number of hits.
interesting.
So I think it is like
We're on to you, dating apps.
it's all algorithms. They're like,
Yeah.